You ready to just start cranking? This is for so we can start this off any way we want.
Yeah. I also don't have like a reference point for how loud I am right now. So
You sound great to me. So.
yeah, that's great. Just echo in the room. Everyone's gonna come out.
Listen, so I have the privilege here in Bricks in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You know, interviewing my boy, my man, Zac Ross.
Yes, sir.
And you know, as we get into this, I got to tell you, I think you know this, maybe you don't. Like, so, you know, you work with my 3 sons.
Yeah.
Like in the roofing, door to door. You have a wild story, and you know, let's get into all different parts of it, and we'll go where we're gonna go. But
Yeah.
you know, so, you know, there's multiple Zacs at the company, right? And so Dominic, you know, my oldest son starts talking about, I went out with this guy from Vegas, whatever, Zac. And then he'd come back and he'd share the things that you were saying to homeowners on the front doorstep. He goes, dude, let's guess what he said. Just like, he said, what? Oh, yeah. You know, and I think there's even a moment where you were like, that's fucking cool, right? Or something like you just totally, and the guy was just totally reaction, and Dom's just, that's so not his personality.
Right.
You know? And culturally here, obviously in Utah is very different than Vegas. How's that been, by the way? Have you noticed a difference?
Oh man, it's different here than anywhere else in the country. Yeah, I've knocked in 30 states. It's insane.
What I mean, what is different here? I mean, other than for those that don't know, like what makes Utah different? You've been in 30 states, knocked doors in 30 states.
Yeah.
This is different than anywhere else.
Yeah. The only place I can relate it to that I've ever been is the Middle East. I mean, it's like the most interesting place in the United States for me because like you have the church here, right? So like religion is prevalent. Whether people are in the church or not, doesn't really make a difference.
It's cultural here.
Yeah, it's completely cultural. And so there's like a level of like, there's like, you know, there's like, so the first thing you probably realize is like some people have an accent here and it sounds like it's a Southern accent, but it's a Utah accent, right? So like there's
I don't know. I grew up here, so to me it's
that's
just
fair. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even talking to Cole or some of your kids, like it's like, bro, you just have no idea where you live because they have no like variable to relate it to. But I think there's that. It has like a southern aspect to it in that sense. But then like you kind of are on the West Coast. But then like you're kind of like I also relate Utah kind of like to Texas, where you're kind of in your own world. People want to kind of be left alone in a way. But there's also like the hospitality aspect of it because the cultural aspect of it is like you want to be kind to people. And so, like, you don't get that normal city, like, you know, get the F off my door, what are you doing? It's not a lot of it. Like, if it's an overknocked area, sure, because people get pounded all the time. But, like, mostly, especially if you go, like, North Davis County or, like, Weber County, like, you know, north of Salt Lake, like, you will get more hospitality, more openness, more understanding and kindness. But I think, think the biggest thing is, like, people are home at a certain time. It's not like a transient city, you know what I'm saying? And then also like people are a little bit more receptive if you can get them past the BS, right? So like if you just don't bullshit people here, I think if you just shoot them straight and get to the point, which is definitely like a city aspect, right? Like if you knock in Vegas or LA or like even Austin, like you'll get that like, you know, don't bullshit me, be quick. Like I got things to do. But then also they're laid back. So it's like kind of a dichotomy, but people want to have a conversation here if it interests them. Does that make sense?
yeah, for sure.
So like people definitely want to have like a conversation. So I think even being in door to door, like we could talk about door to door for 3 hours, 300 hours, but like even in being door to door, like understanding the person quicker. And I think that's like where the strong suit for me is like I can figure somebody out within 2 seconds of like how they want to be talked to and the way they want to be presented to. So yeah, I think that answers that question.
Do you think you can teach that? Do you think you can teach that to people? Or I mean, because I mean, as I've gotten to know you, you know, I mean, you also just have an act for it.
Yeah.
And I think obviously you can learn things, but like, I mean, sometimes you either have it or you don't.
Interesting question. I will get shamed probably for my answers on a lot of things because like I have my own personal beliefs and
That's what I don't care about.
No, I know, I know for sure. Do I think you can train that? I think that like you said, I don't think door to door is for everybody. I think there's this like interesting idea where people like think anyone can do door to door. It's like, you know, whatever. Oh yeah, I can do it. You can do it. Everyone can do it, right? I think, you know, and then people like, oh, that guy doesn't do it. He's a loser, you know, whatever. It's like, first of all, door to door is not for everybody. I think everybody should try it. I mean, Tony Robbins has a whole talk about it, right? Like he thinks that kids, I mean, which is why the LDS community of Mormons are so successful is because they send their youth to like go knock doors for 2 years right out of high school. I mean, like it's the craziest concept to me. I'm like mind blown by that, by the way, like still to this day. Like I'm not Mormon, I'm not LDS. I don't believe in the stuff they believe in. I respect their values. But like, I think that's why that's the most incredible thing you could ever do for anybody. And Tony Robbins agrees. He literally has said, if you ever want to start a business, you should knock you should do door to door for 2 years before you start your business, because it will introduce you to yourself for the very first time. Because
I think the greatest thing about door to door is you learn that you learn that rejection is not personal. You learn you learn you learn through the school of hard knocks as far as I'm not Mormon today, but I was Mormon, and I was so interested. I really wanted to go to a foreign country. Ended up going to Argentina, and we got treated like shit all the time from different people, right?
Yeah.
But it was spoken in Spanish, and I got to where I was speaking Spanish fluently, but it doesn't when you hear when you hear someone tell you to fuck off in Spanish, it doesn't have the same, you kind of laugh at it versus somebody saying it in English.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just doesn't have the same emotional punch.
Yeah.
And I remember this one time that we were at, this one guy was leaving. He hated the country, wanted to leave. And some guy was mouthing off to him. And so he literally yells, "Fuck you," in Spanish back to this guy in Spanish. And the guy yells it back in English to him. And I was laughing so hard. We were all laughing so hard, But for me, I spent 2 years doing that same thing. But like, I have literally three sons that work with you. I have my youngest son who's got this mobile detail business, no fear at all in knocking doors and doing, he's total savage.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that like, it's literally wasn't until my late 30s, early 40s to where like rejection, I didn't take it personal. And I look at like, Cole doing pest control, these guys doing doors. It's like the more and more you do it, it's like being told no is okay. It doesn't mean you're less than. It doesn't mean this or that. But like if you've never been in that, I mean, it's like it's intense, because so much of I believe like, especially in sales, like you got to be okay being told no. You're not for everybody. It's not personal, right? Yeah. But like, how else can you learn that other than being told no 100,000 times?
Right. No, and there's a lot to unpack there. So like, it's interesting because I have a lot of training around this, and I've learned it from multiple people. But like the word no, right, is such a powerful word, right? And like, if a woman tells you no, like it's no, right? Like, or else it's something else, right? So like our whole life, we're conditioned to hear this word, no, right? Like, no, you can't do that. No, I'm not going to do that. No, 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 no. And now you're trying to unpack somebody between the ages of 18 to 30, 40, whatever, whenever they get into door to door. And I'll speak specifically to door because I think it's the truest form of sales, and I'll argue that with anybody. I don't really think people know how to sell. Like I think, I shouldn't say that. I really, really strongly believe that door to door teaches you the true art of sales. And like, the word no, unpacking, like literally, like, how do you hear the word no 7 times to get a yes? Like, how do you hear the word no, move past it, try to add immense value, and then get the client and the customer to at least agree to the value that you've provided to go to the next step? And then on top of that, the first question that you asked, which is like such a powerful question, is like, can you teach that? And it's like, intrinsically, like you said, like the more you hear no, the more you do it, the more you understand people. Like, I think human psychology can be learned, but there's also an intuition that I think can be learned and adapted as well, to like really go like, I know this person, I know what they want and need, I know how to identify them. And you're big on this. It's like one of the things that you harp to me and basically pound into my brain of like, ask questions, right? Like the highest form of sales anyone will tell you is question-based sales, right? It's like, yeah, you've got different forms, option closing, you've got different general ideas, like there's different ways to sell. But like, if you just ask somebody enough questions and then you create enough value, like it's like taking any statement. Can you take any statement and can you create a question with it, right? Can you take any statement and can you create an open-ended question with it? Like, can you take any question that's a yes or no and then make it open-ended? And it's like, the minute you start to really, and I think that's the thing that, the question that you asked that I'm like really passionate about is like, how much information are you taking in about what you want to be? Like, do you want to be the best salesman that's ever lived? Do you want to be a good salesman? Do you want to add a lot of value? Like, how much information and content are you taking in? How often are you trying? Like, when I first started, I talk about him all the time. My buddy Taylor McCarthy, who had like 2,000 followers on Instagram at the time, nobody knew who the heck he was really outside of the industry. And like, he wrote down his whole presentation on like a piece of paper, and he went over it. It was like a 45-minute video, and I found it, and I just started doing that. Like, I'm just going to write out my presentation. I'm going to present it to my wife or my girlfriend at the time, and then I'm going to, do all this stuff, and I'm going to act this way, and then I'm going to do it in the mirror, and I'm going to just do it all the time, and then I'm going to do it on the door, right? And then it's like, I'm going to get and like, that's the difference between knocking out here versus Vegas. Like in Vegas, like you got to do 100 doors, you're pounding you're getting your ass handed to you all day, and then maybe you'll have a conversation. Here, you got a couple doors, you get a conversation, you get a yes, right? So it's a little bit softer market. And like, I want to go to where it's harder first. I want the hard first. Like I want to go to the country, learn the language, not know what to say or do, learn how to say F you in Spanish. And then all of a sudden, who's that guy? Because like, look, like, we had a guy working for us for a little bit who lasted a few months, didn't really work, and then like just leaves. It's like the most powerful thing I can do in my life is like, I'm just not going to quit. Like, I think that's like, for me, like people think I'm great. They think I'm just not going to quit. I might not beat you today, but I'm just not going to quit. And I think that that's like what's opened up my mind to like, cause I'm like, well, what else am I supposed to do? Like I've been given this gift of like, I mean, dude, name me another thing where you don't need school, you don't need like an internship, you don't need to know, you don't need to know really anything. You can go in completely ignorant to the process of anything, which is sales and doors. You can be completely ignorant to it and make professional money. I mean, look at your son. I mean, Dom, like going from like not knowing anything to making almost $500,000 within 2-3 years. Like not selling the third most amount of roofs in the entire country. Like, okay, single-handedly, no leads, no help, no reps, no anything. It's like, name me another thing that you can do to with no money up front too, because you could say real estate, you could say, it's like no money up front, just purely based off of experience
and
of doing
just
it.
determination and grit.
And grit.
And again, it comes back to the objection thing, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is people can't get over that hurdle. And we see this all over the place. I mean, that I do. I mean, I'm more drawn to door more than ever because you and my tribe is in it, right? So I'm watching how they do it. And I'm so inspired by doing it. And then at the same time, like, fuck, I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's like and yet there's a part of me, frankly, that if I would have had that, or if I would have been called on a Mormon mission to Kansas or somewhere else, that's why Utah's such a hotbed for door-to-door stuff and solar and, pest control and roofing or whatever. I mean, there's tons of companies.
This is the Mecca. We call this the Mecca. This is the door-to-door Mecca.
And again, it's like, it's invaluable, that training. To me, it's just the ability to keep going. It's the grit, like you said. And I've learned to embrace also doing the hard as well. Cause I mean, we're wired, if you will, to avoid the hard, the uncomfortable. But if you just embrace it, because the truth is, the matter is like everything we want's on the other side of what we're avoiding, and I think about guys on your sales team that have come and gone, right? And it's just like, and these conversations that I've had with my own kids, right? If there've been moments where they've struggled or they're not hitting it, it's like, dude, just keep going. There's no way that you will fail if you just keep going. And then if something's not working, then bring people in. Maybe it's just changing the way you present. Maybe it's just changing this, just little micro shifts. And just, it could be something that small that all of a sudden, see you later, and then this too. It's like once you finally get the sale, then it's like, that's fuel. And then as long as you keep going, I spent most of my career in the insurance and investment world, and my dad was in the industry, and the old school dogs, I mean, guys that are in life insurance never retire. I mean, there's guys that are 80, 90. I mean, they just keep going. It's like a generational thing. But what's interesting is I watch these guys, and even my own father did this, is it's like, these big commissions, you get these big commissions up front on potentially big sales, but it's like, it was so hit and miss.
Yeah.
Right. So you get a big sale, and then it's like, then it's like, oh my gosh, I can take my foot off the accelerator. And I watch not only my dad do this sometimes, but many of his genre, of his age, if you will, the guys that have been in it, is these guys would like go get a sale and then they'd like take off and then they coast. And then when they run out of money, they go back and do it again. And I'm like, this is exhausting. If you have a big sale, it's like, hey, take the weekend, maybe go on a trip, and then start back over again. Then then it's not so feast and famine. And I see that, I've seen that in my own life where that's happened. But like I learned it when I first started, I saw it happen. I'm like, I don't want to do this. And then I was also living it. It's like I get this big commission, and then shit, I'm out of money. And then it's freaking me out. I didn't want the pressure of that. So I want to just keep going and then just build a base. And then all of a sudden, with the momentum, it's like your pipeline. You never run out of runway as long as you just keep the momentum going. I got a buddy that been in the mortgage industry for 20 plus years, phenomenally successful. He still to this day religiously cold calls 90 minutes a day. Cold calls. And it just to keep him sharp. He goes, I just do it to keep sharp. I mean, he doesn't need it, but he does it anyway. He's built his business, but this the discipline for that. I mean, he's an anomaly, you know, but literally still cold calls 90 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you know, and so again, the more and more comfortable you're doing it, the more you get on doors, it's just like, it just becomes second nature. Right. And then being able to optimize that. But what do you, I mean, again, trends, like let's kind of stay on the whole door-to-door thing. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what are the, I mean, we're kind of hitting some of it, but like, what are the main things you see? Like, can you tell from the very beginning if someone's going to make it or not?
Dude, I wish I was that good all the time. And I said this to Dom even in interviews, like a guy will interview so well, even a guy that's a vet, like, oh, dude, he sounds, because like, here's the deal. I'll do a sidebar. Like, if you're in door to door and like you don't own your company, but like you're like a high level guy who's been doing it, made a ton of money, you don't need to leave where you're working. You're not looking for a place to go, right? You're getting taken care of. You're making a ton of money. You've got a team. Like, your life looks really good. Like, there's buy-in option for you. Like, there's a lot of like, so my experience is you're not looking for somewhere to go, right? A guy that's like shopping is or maybe he got screwed. I don't know. Maybe the company went out of business. But like, if everything is plush, like, you don't need to go anywhere. If you can make $1 million a year working somewhere and you don't have to pay payroll, like, you don't have to take liability, like, I mean, what's the point of like leaving, right? So like, even if you like interview a high level guy who's like leaving a company, it's like, why are you doing that? What's going on? Like, because everybody will tell you, oh, I can do this, and then you put them on the doors and it's like, well, what happened, right? And so it's like, it's a crapshoot sometimes. That, you know, yeah, like we got a guy working for us, Perry, knew 100%, Dom knew, and it's like, I met him, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy will do it, you know? And like, you've got other guys who you think you're going to be good. And I told this to Dom recently, and I'm like, we'll see. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Because I've bet on people. I've given people up fronts. I've given people money, like, to come on, like a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars to come switch their team over. And then like, they don't sell anything. So it's like, there is intrinsic value. Like, there is definitely attributes of a guy. But like, I'll be honest, I'm more likely now to see a guy like on the street or like meet a guy and know like, okay, he's got like the tendencies, right? Like, maybe he was an athlete, right? Because it's very competitive industry. And like, okay, like what does your foundation look like? Like, what time do you get up? What do you do? Like, what's the things that like, because if your life already looks like you've got it figured out in that way, but like money and things haven't been a priority, or like success hasn't been a priority, or like these things that door to door can offer you, then like, okay, I can take that guy and I can get him to get a deal quick. And then if he just continues to do the effort and sees the reality, then like, yeah. But to answer your question directly, it's like, I don't know. Cole's a great example. I was thinking about this while you were talking. Like, when I met Dom, when I first got brought on, and I met Dom, and then he's talking about his brother, and then I meet Cole, and then Cole's like, you know, I knock more doors than everybody, and I'm da-da-da-da. And then like, you're backing up the statement, and I'm thinking, okay, like, let's see what this is. And then I like meet him and I hang out with him for a little bit. I immediately knew, and you can, I mean, I've told you this, you've heard it, and I told Dom, I said, just let me deal with your brother, because it's the vision that he doesn't see, right? Like, he's not bought into the vision totally, because he's got distractions, right? And it's like, look, dude, you've got an idea to do the clothing brand, you've got an idea to do all this other stuff, but let me just ask you a question. What's the quickest way for you to get out of debt and make money right now? Is it the clothing brand, or is it doors? Because you just need to pick one right now. Right? Because one of the greatest lessons I was ever given is, you know, God moves slow, and it's on His time. And if it's not a yes, then it's just a not right now. I don't ever think it's a no. I got a better thing for you. It's not right now, or it's a yes. Right? I don't think it's a no. So it's like, Cole, if I can get Cole to buy in to this thing, right? My job is to just maneuver his paradigm and change his paradigm, maneuver his perspective, and like just get him to just go, oh, okay, I see it. And then now he sees it, and now you couldn't tell him to quit door to door to go do his clothing brand. It's not like he won't go back and do it, because he will, because he's passionate about it. This is the most opportune thing for me to do right now. So taking a guy that's already there, or somebody that has the mentality, because like Bodie Gardner taught this to me when I had him on my podcast. It was like, we're knocking doors for the wrong reasons. We're selling insurance for the wrong reasons. Like, why am I doing it? Because like, if I'm doing it to make money, which I've had the experience of making a lot of money, you've had the experience of making a lot of, it's like, the money will go away because I'm not using it for something. I'm not doing the thing I'm doing for the right reason. So if I'm knocking the door to help the person and maybe leave one person feeling better today, like if I think of business that way, if I think of business being a spiritual game, and if doors are spiritual, right? Because it's lonely, you're by yourself, it's hot, you're getting rejected all day. Do you have the mental fortitude, the grit, like you said, to really just keep going? Because I just need to find my one person. Sometimes that's why Dom laughs and guys that knock with me laugh, is because I'm just out having fun, trick-or-treating, making friends, right? Like if there's a guy out in the yard, I'm just bullshitting with the guy. I'm not even bringing up the roof. I'm just having a conversation. I'll knock renters' doors if I haven't, and this is very well known in the industry, I'll just go hit a renter's door if I've gone to, because I have like a rule, I can't go 15 minutes without talking to somebody. So like I just have to find somebody. So I see a couple cars, I know it's a renter, I just knock the door, let me just have a conversation with them, right? I'll still present as if they're the owner, knowing they're not. So, because they're going to say yes because they're a renter, because renters don't have to make decisions. But at least I get to have it reinstills my faith in humanity. And that's why I'm supposed to knock. I'm not supposed to knock to make money. It's a byproduct.
Yeah, you said two things I want to circle back in just from my own perspective. You know, initially, see, I got this way when I was hiring people at my investment firm. You know, I found guys that have been in the industry for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? It's like, oh, they know what they're doing. They have this thing, right? And depending upon what firm they came from or wherever they were at, they also had shitty habits. Or even employees. Like I found that if I found someone that had the right skill sets, I mean, my greatest employees that I ever had had zero experience, but they had the skill set. Then I got to train them. I got to teach them. And I can't tell you how many times even the new advisors or wealth managers that I'd bring into the firm, you know, that like, oh, they've got all this years of experience. They got all this stuff. I mean, no joke. I had a guy that was managing like $300 million at, I think, E-Trade. And, you know, they have a non-compete and they have all these different rules. You can go through it. And I said, listen, how much money do you think you can pull over? He said, oh, you know, because if he leaves and the investors that he was working with, you know, decide to follow him, that's okay. He just can't solicit them. He goes, oh, there's no question I can get 10% of that, right? So 10%. So I built the entire revenue model, his compensation, off 3%, 10 million bucks. He said 30, I'm like 10. He goes, he kind of laughed at me. So I built a contract doing this. I mean, no joke, this guy, after like 6 months, literally the only money he brought over was his family's money. And you know, I was a handshake guy before, whatever. And to him, I had a contract, and we finally sat down, and I had the contract. I just pushed it across the table, and he just looked at me and goes, I know. And it was done, you know? So I think I look for more of the skills and the attributes or the characteristics that somebody has, and then let me train them or let me help develop them, if you will, you know? Oh, gosh, I had the other thing I had the other thing that you said. See, I'm already spacing it here.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But, oh, no, that's right. The money being the first thing. So, I mean, we need to all own, we're all working to make money, right?
Yeah.
But if your why is only money, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like in every instance where I made it, money was the number one, something happened. It didn't work out or it was temporary. But when it was to serve, it was to give back, and the money was the byproduct. Money was the reward. And when I saw that happen in multiple times in my life. We had a project that we were working on, and then I started to shift into something. And one of the guys that was working with me, you know, he looked at me, he goes, I can't work with you anymore, Adam. He goes, because right now you're making it about the money. And I was so grateful for that conversation, the reflection. I'm like, oh shit, thank you. Right. And then shifted and pivoted. But the money always comes. And I've just found that, like, okay, saying yes to this, I'm going to go work hard. I'm going to serve these people. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. The money is the byproduct of that. Now, granted, I want to make a fuck ton of money, but like when your purpose or your why is bigger than the money will always come. You know, and you kind of articulated that, and it's a game, and it's gamifying it, like in creating your own rules. I mean, you're sharing stuff I didn't even know. It's like I got to talk to someone every 15 minutes. It's like I got to do this. It's like, because you probably know that if it goes an hour or 2 hours, you get in your head or something happens, and so you've done this long enough that it's like, okay, I know what works, I know what I need, and then it's just like, and then all of a sudden it becomes to where then the resistance of that jackass on the doorstep that sits and rips into you can laugh at it. You know, I've watched this with Cole, you know, is you help shift his paradigm. It's been awesome. He'll come back and share stories of how these homeowners doing certain things or whatever, and just the way he handles it and doesn't take it personal. I mean, And the way a little bit of sarcasm without being a dick, or someone comes at you hot, of course you want to go back hot at them or whatever. And I'm laughing at it, just like his emotional intelligence as he becomes more grounded and confident in himself. He's able to have some dickhead on the front porch saying certain things, and then he can kind of play around with it and then just walk away, and it's like no big deal. Right. And now it becomes a funny story versus fuck, I didn't get the money, I didn't do whatever. And that comes with practice and time. Again, a lot of the work that I do, with the men that I work, it's like it's rewriting the story, it's the narrative. It's like there's always something, what can we do so we don't get in our head? And so I love that you shared those examples of you just like, this is what I want to do. I want to serve. I want to have, and I know you, and you truly feel that way. You're not just saying that. I mean, a lot of sales guys or whatever, they're just saying, oh yeah, they'll say the things, but energetically their words and actions aren't aligned. They don't really mean that. They all they care about is money, And so, and I've learned too, we hit on this a little bit as far as, can you teach certain people certain things? And one thing, like I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching and consulting for my team and sales guys, and brought the people in to try to teach it. And it was fascinating that at the end of the day, there's certain things you just can't teach. Either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Either have it or you don't.
I agree. And
I also found that if I care more about them or their success than they do, that's, and it took me a long time to realize that. Like, I'd pour into people, I would do stuff, and I had a paradigm shift with one guy once. I had this older gentleman, been in the industry for a long time. We had incredible systems. It was really dialed to where, an advisor could come in, just go out, and attract new clients and meet with current clients. We did everything else. We the whole back end was just dialed. But he was a shit show. He was messing up our systems. His team's getting frustrated with him or whatever. So I sit him down and I go, do you even want to make more money? And he looks at me, he goes, I don't. And I kind of just sat there. I'm like, what? You don't want to make more money? He goes, I actually like where I'm at. And I appreciated the honesty.
Respect.
I just appreciated the honesty.
Yeah.
We ended up buying his business. He kind of went off and did his own thing. But we were trying to put him into a system that frankly he didn't want to do anyway. It sounded good to him. But then when he got into it, he's like, you know what? I'm comfortable. And I know you're not wired like this way. Another thing I see, and tell me if you see this in door-to-door too, is like guys will hit a certain level where they're comfortable and then they coast.
Yeah. Well, Brian Tracy, Psychology of Selling. I mean, quick plug for the homie. Like, he says it. You will only make the amount of money that you think that you're within 10% of what you think you're worth. I ask that question to people all the time. What do you think you're worth? Like, what do you think you're worth? What do you think you're worth? What do you think you're worth? And people don't know. They don't know the dollar amount. And then it's like, okay, if I don't know, then like, let's just go say I make $20,000 in a month. Brian Tracy specifically says in the book, and I believe it because I've lived it and I've seen people live it. It's like, you will spend in relation to your worth. So like, if you don't think you're worth $20,000, but you think you're worth $2 million, you'll spend money. You'll spend the 18 grand. You'll get to the $2,000. You'll get in this spinning fight or flight mode. You have to go make more money again. And you're constantly in this dichotomy of up and down, 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 right? And so it's like, the reality of the situation is like, mad respect for that guy. Gary Vee said it one time, like, whatever makes you, like, figure out what's going to make you happy. If you're the guy that wants to make 60 grand a year with 4 kids, like, and you're happy and you want to be the soccer coach and do all that stuff, like, dude, I got nothing to say to you. You're happy, if you're truly happy. And some people are. They're just truly happy with what they have.
Yeah, they're content.
They're content, which I have mad respect for that. And like, some of that needs to be learned by a lot of people, including myself in areas. Well, not probably before, not the guy that I am today. But I think like even, just panning it out more. It's like finding what somebody wants and helping them achieve that is the most invaluable trait ever. Like, even this question entered my mind, even our conversation earlier, and the way that, like, the work that you do, it's like, I'm big on the mantras, right? Like on the doors, like, some will, some won't, so what? They've been waiting for me. They were talking on their Alexa. I'm supposed to be here. Because every door-to-door guy has a story for you about how they knock somebody's door. And like, we were just talking about this 5 minutes ago. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm here now. Let's do it, right? So my question to you is like, you were talking about a vision statement. Did you, first of all, like, when did that start? Did you have that before when you had Forsyth? And then why do you do, like, why are you so big on that now?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, great question. So when I had my investment firm, and I bring my whole team in, and what's our mission statement? What's our vision? What do we want to do? Right? We could never get on the same page. And the truth of the matter is, at the time, I was trying to look at it from a marketing perspective. Is like, what is somebody going to want to hear? What is somebody going to want to say? You know, really understand. I didn't have I mean, I knew what values were. I knew what core values were. I didn't know what it meant to truly embody it. I didn't know what it truly meant to live it. And you find that out very painfully when you're not living that, and then you get your ass checked for not living that. Fair?
Saturn whooped your ass.
Yeah, our next podcast we'll have to talk about astrology.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that it's like, I say I value this. You know, after I ended up losing my investment firm and everything that happened, it was such a painful, nearly took my life, and sitting in just basically the carnage, if you will, the destruction of everything. When literally I had, you and I both have had rock bottom moments, right? And it's like, they're when you're in it and you don't see clear. I mean, it's just you can't even see. Like, you're just like, I can't see anything. Who am I? What am I worth? All the negative self-talk. And then you finally get to a point where it's like, well, now what? I mean, there's nothing else to lose, truly. I mean, you and I both I'm like, okay, so what else can they take? And so, and then through a lot of divine intervention, a lot of time, and it's taken time to integrate this. But for me, it's been more like, okay, what do I want? Who do I want to be? Like, what does it take to get that, right? And so as I took the pain and everything, the life experience. I mean, you and I have 100 PhDs in life experience, and we could teach classes on what not to do, probably more than what to do, and there's so much value in that. But now it's like, to me, it's like the root of everything is literally, foundationally who we are as men. We talk about this as we work together, but then the root of, even below that, is integrity. And it's our words and actions are aligned. And when we were identifying your own core values, right? Because everybody says integrity, businesses say it, people say it, and I know the cost of both sides, because there's been seasons in my life where I've been out of integrity, and so to me, I want to be the man, especially in the work that I'm doing today. I refuse to be somebody that's not living what I teach, what I speak about. It needs to be fully embodied, because in the men's space, especially, well, everywhere, but really in men's space, there are so many people that say the thing, that don't live it, that show up online one way and are somebody else different. And I've been that guy. I've worn lots of masks. One of the advantages of, like, when you lose everything, I mean, all the masks come off. And so to me, it's like, I want to be that guy. That just that alone, if I'm the same man 24 hours a day, that I'm not different with you than I am with these guys, than I am when dating, if I'm alone in my room at 3, if I'm that same guy all the time, I'm already in an elite class. Already in an elite class. And so then creating this, I need to be that guy. So what do I need to be able to do that? Right? I already know that that's totally different. And then the more and more I've leaned into it, you just start to see it. So coming back to your integrity thing, which I love, because you remember, you're like, integrity, and I push back. Do you remember this?
Obviously.
But there was like a week. Oh, I was just trying to be dramatic for the podcast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah. But I had you sit with it for a couple weeks. I'm like, I want you to sit with that, what that truly means. Because once you have awareness of it and you speak to it, and then there's levels to it, right? So companies say Integris, right? It's like, you have like in the roofing, right? We sign a contract, you pay us X amount of dollars, we're going to fulfill on the roof. You could, that agreement, if you will, we following through on it, that's Integris. That's integrity. But then there's layers to it. And you can keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. If, like, as a business owner, if you told somebody you're going to do something, you don't follow through, you're out of integrity. And you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And ultimately, integrity starts with the commitments we keep with ourselves, the ones we don't tell anyone except ourselves, right? I'm going to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and go work out. I've told myself that, right? I don't get up. I had the intention. I wanted to, but let's call it what it is. I lied, and I'm out of integrity. And that's how deep I've taken it, to me. And so I'm checking my ass. And if you really think about it, how can we expect anybody to trust us if at the end of the day we don't trust ourselves?
Wow. Yeah.
So again, whatever the core value is. So core values are non-negotiables. It's either if If it doesn't match that, the answer is no, 100% of the time. And, I've talked a lot about this on my own, on my Burn Up podcast and other things here just recently about core values. If it's a core value, it will cost you something. It has to cost you something to be a core value. Money, love, relationships. Otherwise, maybe it's something you value, but if it's truly a core value, there will be a cost. So if it's integrity, right? It's like if you're working with your mom, your dad, whatever, lying all the time, something happens, right? Are you willing to walk away from that relationship? Whatever the value, whatever it happens to be, and the greatest way to notice this is really where I found, because a lot of people don't even know what they are, right? Well, we just spit words out like, oh yeah, I want this, freedom. I want, health or whatever. It's like, okay, like Dominic, one of his core values he said was adventure. He goes, adventure. I go, okay, adventure? He goes, core value. I'm like, okay, so does that mean, if it's a core value, that means anytime you travel, there has to be an adventure. So you going to, Cancun and sitting on the beach for a week, that's not, would you consider that adventure? No. I'm like, okay, then if adventure is a core value, then anything and everything has that. If adventure is not a part of it, then you're saying no, right? Kind of an extreme example, but that's my point.
It's a really good example.
Yeah, I value adventure, but like core value. So I think having 3 or 4 core values, and these can change. But like living it, and one of the greatest ways to know what your core values are is what pisses you off in somebody else. Where do we get triggered?
Yeah.
What did we get triggered, right?
Yeah, the mirror.
The mirror. And so like, like my 3 main ones are like accountability, because again, I know the cost of both sides. That's accountability, integrity, and authenticity.
Yeah.
So when anyone says one of those words, the spidey senses go up, just because not only my own life, and I just watch people, we do it. I still do it all the time. I'm not 100%, but like I'm way more than I've ever been in my entire life. But then I notice some people say it all the time, and I'm like, you don't even realize you're saying it. You don't even realize you're not. You're so out of alignment because it's just like, because it sounds good, And so again, I'm giving you a long-winded answer. Like, so creating values and then creating a mission statement or an I am declaration. It's like, I want to be that guy. Who do I have to be that guy? What kind of energy do I need to tap on? You mentioned, you gave your mantra example for being on the front door. It's like, I have my own personal mantra. So when I get in my head or something's happened, it's like, who am I? Who the fuck is Adam Nugent? I want to be that guy. And then my actions match that, or pushing me towards that, becoming that. But I see myself that way today. That makes sense?
100%. And I think like, man, powerful. So like somebody asked me this question the other day, and like, me, dude, I'm always down to get critiqued, and I'm always down to look at stuff because it's the only way that I survive. Because like Einstein said it, if I'm not moving forward, I'm dying, right? And like if I'm just stationary, standing still, like I'm dying. And, they were like, why do you always talk about yourself in the past tense? And I was like, what? And I'm like, I don't think I do all the time. And it's like, well, you have been. And I was like, oh, okay. And, they were like, why don't you talk about yourself like today? Like, who are you today and who do you want to become? And it's interesting when like I'm tapped in, right? This, everyone, like when I'm tapped in, when I'm living in integrity, when my micro habits are locked, when my foundation is firm, like what messages I'm going to receive if I'm awake and because like, look, dude, you can relate to this. Everybody can relate. How long were you asleep in your own life, right? Like how many years, right? It's like, for me, it was like 6. That's my, it's like, hey, what was that loud pop that just happened? It was my head coming out of my ass, right? It's like, how long was I asleep? And now I'm not asleep. And now there's like sensory overload and I'm getting downloads and like this, they said this to me and I'm like, I've been obsessively thinking about it for the last like 5 days. It's like, who am I today? It's exactly what you were talking about. Because yeah, there's validity in what I did. Yeah, I accomplished all this stuff. I did all these things. I have all these accolades. It's like, but like, nobody cares today. They really don't. Who are you today? Who's the guy, the man, the person, the woman? Who are you today, right? Because look, you're not going to stay full on yesterday's food. You're not going to be drunk on yesterday's alcohol. You're not going to be fit on yesterday's workouts. Like, you're not going to be like, it's today. Like, what am I doing today? And like, who do I want to become? And I think that's part of like what I've learned so much from you too, to just add to that notion is the guy I am today is not who I was yesterday, and I have a new opportunity every day to re-up on my success and my personal growth and my development, right? Because like there's a saying in like some of the groups that I'm in, the rooms that I'm in, where it's like, you know, this is the next phase of my development, right? And I think that's the most powerful thing for me, even at 36, and I'll speak for myself of like, yeah, dude, I've done so much cool shit. Like I've traveled the world, I've owned cool stuff, I've been cool places, I've made good amounts of money, but none of it worked because I wasn't my authentic self. And I think that's the biggest paradigm shift for me recently is like, I have not been true to myself for a really, really, really long time. You know, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and in the bathroom here at Bricks, they have one of the scenes posted from Where the Wild Things Are, right? And I walked in there to go to the bathroom, and I looked up, and I was just reading that with her a few weeks ago. And it's interesting when you're an adult reading a kid's book, and I'm reading it to her, and what is the whole thing about? He has this fantasy of something. He leaves home. He's wondering where he's going on this boat. He lands on this island with these animals, and what's his first reaction is to roar at them, right? And there's fear, and he's meeting fear in a certain way, and then he's like dancing with them, and now he's like the leader of them. So like I'm going on this journey to find myself, and I land somewhere. It's like I always talk about this. Like if I'm flying to London and I'm 1 degree off every minute, I'll end up somewhere else, South Africa, Antarctica, somewhere else. Am I worried about the destination or the experience, right? Like am I married to the process or to the outcome? Because if I'm married to the process in the here and now and right now in this moment, the outcome will just fix itself like we talked about. You knock for the right, you sell for the right, you do all the things for the right reasons, the money will just come. It's just transactional. It'll just show up. And then he just gets done and he accomplishes it, then he goes back home a new kid. So it's like, it's almost like we've all been on this journey constantly of like trying to find ourselves. We're always focused on the outcome. What am I going to get out of the situation? Me. When it's like, no. What value can I provide? What information can I receive? And then can I grow and be better? Like what, dude, you played it lightly. Like you crushed all my core values. You're like, hey, dude, go do these core values. And I remember I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, dude, these are sick. He's going to be so impressed. Because that's my, my ego. Oh, he's going to be so impressed. Like I can't. And it's like, nope, not that. Nope, not that. Nope, not that. And I'm like, I remember I was pissed. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Right? I'm like, no, these are good. And you're like, no, think about it. And then the next week, nope, think about it. And I'm thinking, you know what, dude? If I'm getting honest with myself, he's right. Like, integrity is a tough one. It's a tough one, but I have to do that because it has to be the word of the year, and it has to be the thing that I'm going to do, and it has to be the person I want to be today.
And what you're finding, and I appreciate you sharing that too, because trust me, I went through the whole same thing too.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I want. My life blew up because there were parts of my life that was out of integrity. I'm going to be that, and then fuck, what did I say yes to? Holy shit. I didn't realize what I was saying yes to. And it's not with other the work, the triggers, all of it. It's not other people. It's you and you. It's me and me.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to bail on something that's stupid. I mean, I embody going to the gym. I can't tell you how many times that it's become who I am. But there's moments where I don't want to go, and I'm trying to talk myself whatever. But it's like words, integrity. I mean, all I have to do is say that word. It's like shit. Okay. I'm doing this, right? And then, my oldest son, Dominic, the greatest accountability partner for me, he doesn't, there's no sugarcoat. It's the Latin effect. He just says, oh, you're out of integrity. And that's like putting, that makes me so upset, but it has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with me. And so, no, and I do, but I want to honor that because I've watched you just like your personal transformation and growth just in the last, 6 or 7 months that we've known each other. And I mean, it is, I'm inspired by it. Because and it's the ability to just reset and start over. It's not a straight line, and it's learning to enjoy the journey. And I didn't truly fully understand that. Even my own rebuild from the devastating everything that happened to 3 years to where I'm at today. I mean, it has been. I'm learning. I've always wanted to play checkers. Boom, 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 fast. I'm learning. Very through a very humbling, patient way. I'm learning how to play chess because the truth of the matter, the game of life is chess. And understanding where God plays the role in it, and now I geek out on it. And it's like every day's a new adventure. I don't necessarily today have the money I'm making the money that I want to make or actually know that I'll make or certain aspects of my life, but it's like I know I'm getting closer. I can smell it. And it's like, who do I need to be to get there? And to me, it comes back to just the core values. It's just living my purpose, living my core values, integrity. We'll have to talk about this another thing where you've also taken the challenge, right? As far as like even channeling and protecting our sexual energy, that is a superpower in itself. We'll save that for another day. But brother, dude, I appreciate you, man. We have hit the clock.
Likewise. Yeah. Right on the money.
We're right on the money. But anyway, this is I'm gonna post this whole thing. This is cut up for clips, but I'm gonna post this thing on my YouTube thing. So
I'm down.
Anyway, all right, brother.
All right, man.
Rock and roll.
Good
Thanks,
shit.
dude.
Thanks.
Goodbye. Only 30 seconds.